So as we connect to our breath, there's just the slightest degree of resistance, and I provide it to myself. You can provide it right in the diaphragm. You can provide it right near glottis. But just so that exhale is softly a resisted doing, very, very softly resisted. We don't want to add tension to the throat or the abdomen. Because we'll be touching in through the back and the side of the body, let's take an extra moment to feel the diaphragm and the dynamics, the motion right under the rib cage, but into the back. Some of these, what feels anatomically crucial to me is this tendinal muscle, the diaphragm in the back extends all the way down. There's a little bit of discrepancy as to where it connects, but I'm taking it on the advice of some rewrites that it goes all the way down to the coccyx. So the back of the diaphragm, I'm going to consider connects all the way through the low back, down to the tip of the tailbone. That's it, that's it. So let's move into a knee pile right over left. I'm just going to start to get the structure around the top of the lung lubricated, moving. So inhaling, we'll reach the arms out to the side, turning the palms up. You can really stretch those fingertips out or lightly stretch those fingertips, those arm bones away, and then exhale, turning the arm bones, thumb tip down. Do just a couple more of these. Inhaling. Starting to get the ribs and the area under the shoulder discovered. And then exhaling, thumb tip turned down. Do another. Good. We'll let the arms go. Slide this right foot down to the ground, Barakanasana. And place your left hand on your left thigh. The right hand's on the ground. And I'm just issuing enough pressure to heighten awareness in the left side of pelvis. Just letting the awareness of pelvis become slightly more foregrounded. And then feel as you're issuing this pressure, exhaling, feel your diaphragm, or rather your mid-spine lifting away from the low spine. Very subtle, but it's just an anti-collapse move. And you can still feel your breath in the back of the diaphragm, the back of the rib cage. And release. Okay, we're going to do the other side. So it's left over right knee pile. Left over right knee pile. And inhale, reach the arms out, and we can turn the palms up however much. Just helps you feel and sense into the shoulders, the joints, the top of the rib cage. Exhale, turning the thumb down. I'll often add a little chin tip down just so I can feel the uppermost part of the rib cage in the back. Do a couple more like so. Remember, it's not just the air that we're working with in terms of the breathing in the lungs, but it's the gas in fluid, right? It's the gas has to get into the fluid, the blood, and go across all of these gradients. So it's not just air filling a balloon, it's gaseous fluid moving across membranes. It's blood circulation. Good. And then we'll release the arms. So sometimes breathing harder isn't going to net us more oxygenated tissues. All right, so I've got the soles of feet together, and we'll do this unlocking the hip in the right side, right hand to right thigh bone. And just like the blood can perfuse the tissues, in a similar fashion, our awareness, our perspective, our ability to feel will permeate different layers. So we'll all be able to feel into different depths, different layers, different areas of the body. And again, just like we can't force these fluid, these gradients, we can't really force awareness to show up more in the body. So just breath by breath, permeate, absorb. Sometimes it's a really patient absorption process. And release. And take a forward fold in Barakanasana. You can walk your hands forward, or you can use your arms and shins if you like. But I'm making the move, I'm initiating the move from the top of the lungs, from the heart. And this way I get support from the inside of my spine as I fold. Not the muscles, not the back muscles. It's actually the inside of my spine. The Crura. Letting that breath reach the back of the spine, like bottom of the ribs. Keep supported in your fold. You can start to attune to a very light, almost like a thread-like drawing up from the perineum. Like a thread-like drawing up through the center of your bodily space. It's not a contraction. It's not a squeeze of the abdomen. And release, walking your way up. And leave the feet and the legs just like so. Side bend. Okay, let's go right hand beside. I'm doing the side I'm saying. Inhale the left arm. And exhale. You can reach that left arm over. Feeling for the lung, the waist, the hip bone. All the way down to the sit bone, perineum. And as I keep gently supporting and growing the mid-spine away from the low spine, finding ways to relax or soften the weight of the left leg down. So none of these are muscle moves. I'm not pushing the leg down. I'm not muscling the mid-spine up. That's it, Marcy. That's it. Because a lot of that breathing, what we can, what we first think of when we think breathing or breathing muscle, is a lot to do with the back, the pelvis, the lower spine. Okay. And so inhale, we'll take that left hand up and over. We'll switch sides. Go left hand beside. I'm feeling that right sit bone on the ground. And then I'm aiming just a little bit to the inside, or feeling a little bit to the inside of that right sit bone. That's where the perineum is. You may even feel your breath beginning there. That right arm reaches into side bend. We're just letting this pose help illuminate pelvic awareness. We don't even necessarily need this stretch, but it's just one of these helpful things. And can you track, can you feel if your breath reaches down to the perineum? Does your breath reach and permeate behind the pubic bone? Can you feel your breath where the low back becomes the mid back? And we'll set that right hand down, pressing your way up. The legs have been here a while. Let's help them with the hands. Okay. We'll set up for Dolphin. Wow, just on this setup is a really great place to feel the back of your diaphragm, the back, the interior of your spine, kind of the back wall. When you're ready to exhale, curl the toes under and we'll press the knees off the ground. So I'll just bring it up here. When we get into this position, I've observed it's fairly common that we'll start to miss feeling the breath and through the mid-spine. So as you're breathing, can you feel like breath touches the mid-spine? It's just at and just under the rib cage. You know, those floating ribs. It's the movement of breath. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're getting that. There it is, right in there. Mm-hmm. So the way our awareness kind of finds its way in isn't necessarily by breathing harder or forcing. It's got a little bit more of a listening. We'll take one or two more breaths. Back. Here it is. And there's a little there. There it is. We're going to find those in Cobra later. Good. Set the knees down. We'll take a rest. Finding that tendinal support through the back of the spine is a really subtle but really profound move. All right. Let's lie on back. We'll do just a little dose of breathing from the back. So part of lying on the ground and using the abdominals, a little bit of that abdominal pressure to kind of move the spine to the back, part of that has a lengthening effect. So again, it's not something I want to do by like jamming my abdomen at the ground or tensing as if someone might drop a brick on my belly. But it can be a much subtler move. And you can feel if that lengthens the spine or if it just kind of seizes up your internal organs. And I'm sure you can guess which one we'll go for. So with the hands behind the head, just enough direction to feel how the spine lengthens along the ground. Inhaling the head and the shoulders up will further that lengthening, not just arching or curling, but lengthening. And the tailbone shifts toward the pubic bone. Exhale, the left leg reach out. And as you move the left leg mass, the bone, the muscles, the particles outward, drawing the low belly down, feel what that does to the sacrum and the low back, especially right where that juncture is. Inhale, bend that left knee. Curl tailbone, exhale the right leg out, reach. And as you move the particles, the mass of right leg out, and you draw the belly down, just get a sense of the sacrum, the low back. There you go. Inhale, bend the right knee. And let's do just about 4 more each side. You don't have to count too hard, but just keep going. And maybe for some of us, the breathing breathing that we know so well by way of diaphragm, maybe it has very little or just threads of connection through our low back. So what do you start to feel? Low back lengthens. There you go. Belly. So even as we're doing these abdominal, these diaphragmatic, these motoric movements, there's still a sense that the spine has this, there's this variability. I can feel the lengthening and the, good. Just finishing up the pair or whichever that you're on, and we'll rest. Because when you've had a background of athletics, it can be really easy to just put an overlay of brace or effort, and we actually can miss a lot of the slight perceptual, like, information of the low back. All right. So you can choose a roll or a block. You get either. And we'll place that object between legs. And we'll reach the legs skyward. Okay. And I will recommend today to permit the heads of your thigh bones to kind of melt down toward the ground, toward the earth. Inhale into your low back. Maybe you feel your sacrum there. Maybe you feel some of those lumbar discs or spine. And then apply a little bit of this inner leg squeeze onto the object. Exhale the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. And allow those inner legs, the thigh bones, to move toward the ground. You don't have to pull them there. We're just not pushing them away from the ground. Pull the low belly down. Inhale, setting the head down, letting up some of that leg squeeze. Holding that just for a moment, applying the squeeze. Exhale the head and the shoulders off the ground. Now, as you're applying squeeze between the inner legs, feel the area between your sit bones can be unclenched. There's a quality of relax. And now as you pull the low belly down, you may feel that perineum move a little bit. Inhale, set the head down. I'll say that again. As we get into the pelvis, some of this can get kind of subtle. Squeeze the object. Exhale, the head and the shoulders up. The inner leg squeeze between the sit bones can be soft, resilient. And as you draw the low belly down, right between the sit bones, you may start to feel motion. Inhale, set the head down. Let's do about 3 or 4 more on our own, just like so. And what I'm offering that we do with these moves today is feel that the engines of the legs, the squeeze, need not overwrite pelvic sensitivity, especially between the sit bones. Sometimes we'll feel the sit bones move toward each other. We can do that. That's a type of a move. Some days we'll feel the tailbone move toward the pubic bone. That's another kind of a sensitivity in a move. And today I'm just letting us turn on the groin, the inner leg. And then feeling between the sit bones if that's something you can sense. Does it move? And then we can just set the feet down whenever you're done. These variations become more important as we get more, as we see more need to regard the hip and the back and the pelvic floor with more nuance, right? So you may want that block as we set up for bridge. So we'll set the feet up hip width. Inhaling. And feel the mid-spine just very subtly lift from the tailbone. It's like this interior space. And then exhale, pressing the hips toward the sky. And if I'm lifting with this kind of ligamental support from diaphragm to tailbone, I don't have to harden my belly, and I don't have to stiffen my back muscles. How would I know if I'm stiffening or hardening? Well, we check with the breath. And as you reconnect to your breath, can you feel breath permeating these layers and areas? Often when I'm stiffening or contracting, I lose sensitivity for breath. So it's a really nice check. Can I feel breath in and moving the low back bones and joints? Right? If I'm stiffening my back, I may not feel any motion whatsoever. And I feel breath on the inside of my spine through my guts. If I'm tightening my abdomen, I may not feel much breath movement at all. Whenever or if you need the block, feel free to insert it. This can also be done without a block, so it does require a little different kind of calibration without a block. When the left foot feels well positioned, supportive, inhale the right foot off the ground, drawing the knee toward the chest, and let's exhale that right leg toward the sky, and kind of lifting and reaching both leg bones in their respective directions. Left thigh bone reaching away from the nose. Right thigh bone reaching toward the ear. Can you still feel breath in the back side, the back of the diaphragm, where the ribs become the low back, that juncture? Can you still feel that left thigh bone lengthening? So you can get a sense of your own psoas. And that psoas has a deep, a rich connection all the way to that diaphragm. So part of you breathing and feeling the diaphragm is part of the hip. You can keep feeling, it's a really deep, it's subtle, it's deep, but you can get a sense of that left psoas lengthening. We're holding steadfast. And just gently sending that left thigh away from your low ribs. There you go. And then if you feel that those mid ribs starting to move with the breath, that's really cool. That's interesting. There you go. Let's change sides. Now's a good time, right? We'll set the right foot down. And when you're ready, we'll take that left foot, your left knee toward chest, and raising left leg. So deep, deep in the front side. You can feel this part of your thigh bone softly lengthening from that. There you go. I'm feeling the breath reach these bones, these tissues, these tendons. You can feel all the way to the bone here with your breath. There, that's... And then this reach away from here. There. You feel that difference. It starts to... There. Sweet. We'll take just one more breath and we'll set this all there. That's it, that's it, that's it. And we'll set that left foot down. So you can get a sense of that. Yeah, that's it. So now you know how to breathe in, right into that psoas area. That's a rich, rich place. Remove the block from underneath. It takes a little finesse, a little attentionally wriggling in and down to go, oh, that's psoas, that's a diaphragm. And once you've lowered all the way down, there you go. That's a different breath right there. Take another one. And that psoas starts to reorganize, whatever that means. That's a very loose word. I find there is a reorganization, the whole like nervous system. So I find that those psoas to brain ways of breathing, where I breathe, feeling that low back and the brain all in one breath, get really important. Turn onto a side and let's stand up. There's a twisting horse stance here for us. Okay, so now I can add a little bit of traction to this area. The tip of tailbone, diaphragm. So if I go not too deep, I can feel the floor of my pelvis. I can feel the perineum. I'm saying not too deep because if you just dive bomb in, all you feel are like the bone just pushing and smashing on the bone. So I kind of get into that trampoline place. Boing, there's the pelvic floor. And now apply the hands to the thigh bones. And kind of like bridge, as you press, there can be this potential for bone away from bone, this kind of more spacious organization. So now with breath, breathing from pelvic floor all the way through that mid-back. And exhaling, we'll press the left hand into the left thigh so that we twist to the right. Feel if there's breath motion. Right where the mid-back becomes the low back. Feel breath getting right like to the back wall. There it is. And then you can track how that breath goes all the way down to the low back. And we'll trade sides. Coming back centrally. Pressing right hand into right thigh. So we're twisting to our left. And I'm not getting overly stretchy in the groin necessarily. We'll have plenty of poses for that. And just deep enough where I can feel the pelvic floor. And it's a very unhurried breath. I find that it's actually quite a gentle way of breathing that helps me feel to the backside. There's a presence to it. It's not a tepid breath, but it's not rushed or forced or pumped or pushed. And inhaling, we'll come back centrally. And stand. Heel toe your feet together. We will use the wall. So the ways that we can use the wall are handstand, straddle splits. I'm going to talk us through downward dog on the wall, reaching one leg away from the wall. But if you have handstand capacity, you certainly may. So we'll find a section. There's plenty of wall everywhere. Come on in. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So taking downward dog. Oh, you're doing the loop. Yeah, cool. And the loop gets you into the mid back, huh? Yeah, that's a good one. We'll press into downward dog. The heels will just skim or be right at the base. Okay. And just by tweezing those inner arm lines on and imagining or pulling the outer arms out, you get a really strong support from the shoulders and the arms. When you're ready, inhale, we'll step 1 foot hip height, followed by the other foot hip height. Now, this ligament, this tendon rather, support can be felt in the front side of the spine, deep interior. That's it. So it'll have a sense of tailbone lifting away from the diaphragm without the buttock muscles necessarily clenching. At your readiness, raise or reach one leg away from the wall. So when the tailbone shifts, you'll feel all this get support. So it's just the slightest. You'll feel the air, that. It's not an abdominal or a muscle thing. Yeah. It's nice. Yeah. That's it, Marcy, that's it. It's a cool, interesting thing to find these intrinsic support systems that aren't muscles. It's okay if you use muscles. I'm just not emphasizing them as our support system. If you've done both sides, that's fine, but I'm going to just give a little extra time in case there's a second side that you need to finish. Yeah. So you don't even have to tuck that much. There you go. We have such active butts in. Yeah, it's actually a knot tuck. And if we want to do this together, it's just a little bit of a find. I keep talking about this kind of this little run of ligament from here down. And there's some discrepancy in textbooks, you know. Some will stop it at L2, but I do have the feeling that it goes to the tailbone, and I subscribe to the textbooks that draw it that way. So if I were just on my hands and my knees and I just let my belly go, there's a whole, and this is one of those subtle things, so let me get this best angle here, is I can use my abdomen to kind of squeeze and shape the spine. Okay. Yeah. I can use the Crura. My abdomen is still soft, and you can see how that organizes the shoulders. I'm steady in my shoulders. Again, here's the abdomen tensing. Look how I'm still disjointed in my shoulders. Here's Crura. Here's tuck. This is that tailbone tuck. Relaxed. Here's tailbone tuck. Relaxed. Here's Crura. Relaxed. Here's abdominal squeeze. Right, so it's getting the support from just in front of the spine. And something that I'm not going to recommend do this, but I'll show you in one other way, because it'll come up in things like bridge and cobra, is when I'm supported from now it's like the bottom, but it's the interior side of the spine. If I'm supported in that way, I'm not, like I don't have to pull my shoulder blades down. I don't have to crush my ribs. In fact, this is a really light way of supporting, right? This isn't muscle. I'm not clenching my butt. I'm not squeezing my shoulder blades. So, but sometimes it's really helpful if we're in severe pain. We need to do a tensional strategy so we're not in pain. Anyway, just ideas. You might be able to see those and just fold them in. It's deep. It goes deep in there. Let's come away from the wall or just to a working spot that we like. Crura. Crus, singular. Crura, plural. Yeah. There's a way that they hatch the fiber, not fibers, but there's a way that they run where there's a feel and a support from the left hip to the left shoulder, but there's also a cross way that they support. So it's like left hip to right shoulder. So it can get really interesting in there. Inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the left foot back, lunge, and you can play with it right here, drawing the arms up. I don't need to tuck my tailbone necessarily, but if I can find that tendon of support that comes from the diaphragm, through the tailbone, right? I'm not, because my butt's pretty soft. There you go. My abdomen is breathable. It's really a lovely way to like dial down the efforts and get some deeper sensitivity. There you go. Inhale the hands to the ground. Exhale, we'll step right foot back, lower, all the way down. You can feel again here. Cobra, inhale. It goes all the way to the tailbone, diaphragm the tailbone. Exhale, lower, downward dog. Finding my support from that really deep abdominal diaphragm place lets me be really light. Let's do the lunge, other side. Inhale, left foot forward. And there's lots of strategies to support the back. I could use my buttock muscles and I can kind of hip tilt, drive the tailbone that way. It can get really intense on the groin. Okay. I can use my abdominals and brace. That is a strategy. I can play around with what is that supports? It's deep. It's on the interior wall of the spine. Hands to ground. Exhale, the right foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand. We'll draw the arms up overhead. So again, you can feel it here. The tailbone may shift slightly, but you don't have to tuck it. It's more of like you're feeling, and the more inferent feeling the support than the motoric. Move it this way. Inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale, fold. Ooh. Inhale, the right foot back lunge. This time, right knee off the ground. So feel free to keep the hands down. And as we're in this lunge with the right knee up, feel the back of the brain area. So it'd be like the neck structure, the jaw. Getting to be really relaxed. And pressing back a little bit as we straighten our legs, we're moving into pyramid. Additionally, I'm going to softly step my right foot forward several inches. Exhaling. As we fold, letting those inner thighs find the back of that hip socket. Or put another way, you may feel the left hip moving back. And bending left knee. Inhale, hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. Step both feet back. Lower all the way down. Cobra. You could generate all the lines of pull and tension from the arms. That certainly is one strategy. And I'm just playing around with feeling the interior of the spine, to which both my hips are deeply connected. Exhale, lower down, downward dog. There it is again, right there in the pressing back, yeah? Inhale, the right foot forward, lunge. The left knee is up. I'm playing with this area because it's like you can kind of feel a little bit where some of this is with by drinking hot tea, you feel the temperature change. So it can start to give you a sense of about where in the diaphragm this can. Okay, so right, you change modes here. Breathing into the back side here. Good. Pressing this into me. This, there you go. Push into me. Push into me. There you go. And this whole thing, which, you know, your psoas is connected quite a bit higher. You can feel this moving. We're like right in here. You feel the thigh bone as it relates, like right in. There you go. Pyramid. Inhale and back out and slightly step that left foot forward. Exhaling to fold. And bending the right knee, inhale, we'll set the hands down. Exhaling, chaturanga, step both feet back. And again, let's lower all the way to the ground. So you can have the belly down for a moment. Inhale, cobra. You don't have to shift the tailbone with your butt muscles necessarily. But if you're finding that what kind of tensions the interior of the spine, it will involve your tailbone. It's just tucking tailbone just is a lot shorter to say. Exhale, lower down, downward dog. But they're very different moves, very different perceptions. Here too, right here in downward dog, you can find that support from the inside, which is now the bottom relative to ground, the bottom of the spine relative to ground. That's it, Marcy, that's it. That's it. I'm gonna give this downward dog just a few more breaths of marinating time. Just so you can feel some of that same, keep the hands right there. There you go. You're breathing into the same area of back wall. We've been there it is. There. So you're getting breath right into the back of the diaphragm. If you started to identify that psoas, then there you go. QL, if you. Yeah, one more. Yeah. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. There it is. Inhale, step right foot forward, warrior two. Take your time. You're getting breath into the, like it keeps reaching a little bit more fluidly and lower. That's neat. Here too, so I don't have to engage the glutes, the big engines of movement, to feel the diaphragm, the center, right between those two domes. It's a double dome. The diaphragm's a double dome. To feel the center of that double dome right over the perineum. Right. And if you feel that diaphragmatic relationship, then you don't have to use your butt muscles and tuck and do any of that stuff. There you go. Yeah, it does relate there. Sure does. And you're right, that pelvic diaphragm has an enormous relationship to the vocal diaphragm. That's it. Yeah. Reverse warrior. Inhale the left hand to the left thigh. Raise the right arm. And as you're exhaling, press with the right foot. Lengthen that diaphragm, the solar plexus diaphragm, away from your pelvic diaphragm. We have lots of diaphragms. So usually if we don't name which one, we assume the breathing one, the middle of the torso one. But why not feel these diaphragms' relationships to one another? Yeah, that's it, Marcy, that's it. You feel breath between the pelvic diaphragm and the lung or the solar plexus diaphragm. And I think this will be really helpful, Joy, for some of the things that we're doing with the back. You're feeling the breath in the back wall, right up against the back low spine. So we have to shift legs just a, there you go, there it is. All right, inhale, bring that right arm up and over. Let's set the right forearm just for a moment on the thigh. We're gradually getting into extended warrior, but we'll take it here first. Left arm, reach away from left foot. And we're here so that we can take a few breath moments to feel into this left side of the spine. There it is. So this is a little bit more like how we were breathing into our back when we were lying on the ground. So we're breathing into the back side of the body as well, not just the front. Good. And I'm reaching that left leg away from my diaphragm, just like I did in bridge. There you go. That's it. And again, it's not a muscle move, but if something starts to shift deep in that diaphragm psoas area, you'll feel these ribs starting to gently lengthen away. You'll feel that left leg starting to grow a little bit longer. And yes, you can lengthen your psoas with your awareness of your psoas. There you go, that's it. So now stay right here if you love this, and this is beneficial. I really like this altitude for feeling the psoas, the left side of the spine on the inside. Or take that right hand down to the ground. You could also put it on a block. Extended warrior. Being really generous with my breath, with my attention in the back of the body, the interior low back. Inhale, place the hands down, set the left knee down. We're moving into twisting lunge, which may turn into twisting warrior. So you decide if you want to keep your left knee down, or with exhaling the left elbow over the right thigh, if you would like to press the back knee up. Now, why I would like pressing the back knee up is I can continue working with that psoas, diaphragm, kind of intersection. It's just a place where a lot of us have some, where we can feel how the hips are different. Because a lot of it can happen right up there with the lung, the diaphragm, the QL, the so it's this gradual breathing into the back of the ribs, the low ribs. As I send that left leg straight away from the ribs. I'm feeling the ribs. I'm lifting, gently drawing the ribs away from the left thigh. Gonna reach our left leg back from right here. Just feel the thigh bone. There it is. There it is. Inhale, unwind. Yeah. Sweet moves. Exhale, chaturanga. Lower all the way down. Yeah. Cobra, inhale. But we come here for the reorganizing, yeah? Exhale, lower down, downward dog. We're going to give downward dog a few moments to marinate, because if you just started to feel some length through those deep back or deep psoas hip muscles, this is a wonderful place to feel that. Is this okay? You can just let me know if you leave the hands right there. In that same place. Leave the hands right there. You're just going to feel that exact same place. Diaphragm, psoas, QL. There you go. There you go. Those are great breaths. Yeah. Good. Let's do that other side. Inhale, step left foot forward, warrior two. If you feel a little dizzy, that's not a bad sign. That's a psoas. It's been said that the sacrum, the psoas sacral relationship is kind of gyroscopic. So when something kind of gets a little bit recalibrated, it can feel a little stumbly, like, whoa. I know I feel pretty stumbly, and that's there you go. So if I find that support, I'm just going to keep reiterating a lot of the same. This is such a cool area of the body. If I feel the support coming from interior to the spine, the mid-low back, my perception is my organs feel lengthier. I feel like I have a taller torso, a more spacious torso. That's my perception. And then if I have that support from, it's kind of like right in here, then there's no clench in the butt. The tailbone moves, but I didn't have to clench my butt. I didn't have to clench my pelvic floor to reorganize. I just found a different support system. Now, a really big important move here is, can I feel my breath on the back side of the diaphragm, the back side of the body? Reverse warrior, we go inhale, right hand to right thigh, raise left arm. And as you're exhaling, press down through that left foot. So lung diaphragm lifts, lengthens away from pelvic diaphragm. And this is that downward dog move where you are getting breath back in. Yeah, that's it. Totally different way of being in the hips. Yeah. That's a totally different way of being in the hip. That's cool. Here's our extended warrior. We're doing this in stages. Inhale the left arm up and over. And we'll go left forearm to left thigh, okay? And the right arm reaches overhead. I find that my right foot placement is crucial to accessing the psoas QL. Okay, so I have that right foot turned in slightly, just slightly, like, yeah, there you go. And again, feeling into the back of the body, the back of the, and then you'll feel, like if I just reach hard, it literally like hardens a lot of this interior musculature. And you can reach that right thigh bone. There's that breath access, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, if you love it, you can do extended warrior left hand on the ground. Otherwise, remain exactly here. I want you to choose what helps you love on that, the two sides of that inner, the spine. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go right into downward dog. Inhale the right hand down to the ground. And as you exhale, step that left foot back, downward dog. And just feeling that low back. Adding. Yeah, so you feel that breath in the back. And just like we did at the wall, no tuck necessary. Just, there you go. There. It's like letting that breath kind of roll and scroll across the low back. There you go. Good. Inhale. Let's step both feet forward. Arrive at standing however you love. We're going to do one final thing with the wall. And it's standing fold. The forward fold is a splits fold at the wall. So facing the wall. And here's the deal, if the leg doesn't seem to get to the wall in a way that you can like lean in and press into it, sometimes a ledge or like a couch ledge or something like that will work. When I set this up just like pyramid really, my left foot's not pointing the wall, but just a little bit out turned this way. My wall foot is 12 o'clock or skyward. I let myself have the distance that gives me that ability to lean in. And that's all I really like and want. And then from here, it's a lean, it's a fold. It's pretty intense, so your breath will matter. So I'll give you a moment to find a wall or ledge. We can make it work over here. If needed. And I like finding that distance where I can start to work the legs similarly straightened, similarly strongly. Not overly stretchy. Sweet spot. Lean into the wall. If you can't lean into the wall, you might be a little too close. Nothing should feel funky in the knees. Nothing. Do you want to try the wall? Because with there's a little bit of a difference when we go foot to something versus foot on something. There you go. And so with the legs working, breathing backside of body. I'm not going to push you into the fold, but I'm just going to help you feel these. And it's a very soft lengthening of the rib cage, the lowest rib cage, away from that left thigh. Again, it's not a clench, it's not an abdominal tense. Yeah. And when you need to release, bend the wall leg. I want to palm the wall so you can set your foot down softly. All right. Second side. We'll wrap this up. There you go. That's it. Because I'm interested In this diaphragm psoas relationship, I'm treating that ground leg like a lunge leg. That's it, Jerry, that's it. And I'm inhaling, lifting. It's a gentle lifting or torso lengthening. Those low ribs just kind of float, lift away from that ground thigh. That's it. It's not just a leg move, it's a whole trunk move. Just one or two more breaths here. You may even try relaxing underneath the back of the skull. That might make a difference. Yeah. And then when you need to exit, bend the wall knee, palm the wall, and step it down. Let's set up for Shavasana. It's both a need and a deserve. Please lie back so that you can feel at ease. And structurally, where we kind of hung out today is a structural plexus that unites the lower body with the rest of the torso, the upper body. It unifies this lower space of the body with this upper space of the body. The pelvic abdominal space with the thoracic space, the lung space. When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side. and press your way to seated. Namaste.